1, turn to Luke chapter 15. Chapter 15. Luke chapter 15, beginning with verse 11. And you come to down by verse 24 somewhere. And this story in Luke chapter 15 is a famous story. If you read your Bible at all, you'll recognize the text. There's certain stories in the Bible that are universal. Everybody knows about. There's hardly anybody in America that knows about Daniel and the lion's den. That's just there. And stories like Jonah and the whale, those kind of stories. And everybody's familiar with those things. They're part of the American literature heritage. And that Bible has been translated into 160 different languages, so it's pretty universal. Daniel, lion's den, Jonah and the whale, David and Goliath, those stories. Those stories like that are commonly known, and what the story about the rich man in hell, that's commonly known. And this one here, this is called the story of the prodigal son. And the word prodigal means spendthrift. The word prodigal means a person who wastes things and throws away things, throws away his talent, wastes his life. And so when we talk about the story of the prodigal son, we're talking about a young man who was wasteful. And Luke chapter 15 starts at verse 11. See how he starts. And verse 11 he says, there was a certain man that had 2 sons. And the younger said, Father, give me the portion of good that falls unto me. And so he divided them his living. Not many days after, the younger gathered all together and took his journey to the far country, he says, and wasted his sons with righteous living. Well, now he says, there was a certain man that had 2 sons. And the younger. Now you might know it than the younger. The younger son said, there's something about a young man, he gets to be about 16, he's smarter than everything again the rest of his life. And has all the answers. Girls, it's about 13. Sometimes they're about 13, she knows all the feelings. And they call it, puberty and adolescence. I don't know what it is. It looks like the devil as far as I'm concerned. But you think they get that young coming up, and they never know quite as much again as they know then. And the younger said, Father, give me the portion of good that falls unto me. And so he divided them his living. And not many days after. If not many days after you think about the far country that you get there, and the young man got together what he had and took off, he's going to conquer the world. Old Chinese saying, he who go out to work, set the world on fire, soon come back for more matches. And you see the young people doing that crazy stuff. You ever see these kids hitchhike out here, 17, 18, 19 years old with a backpack on? They're working harder. They work in a coal mine at 20 cents an hour, man. Out there in the rain, sleep in the rain. They get mugged the first night they're out, and they're carrying junk the rest of the time. What a dumb thing it is. I'm glad that I don't have to go back and come through again. Our folks say, just to be young again. I wouldn't want to be young again, but nothing. I wouldn't want to go back and get 15 or 16 or 17 and nothing. You can have it. You take the young people I'm talking to right now, you're in one of those depraved, rotten, dangerous generations ever showed up in this earth. Amen. And I wouldn't want to go back and come through again. I'd probably wind up hell on the next time. I probably wouldn't get through it. Back when I was a boy coming up, the young man was, all 15, and he was smoking and drinking at 15, he's considered a bad guy. But your bunch on dope at 12. Your bunch, I know your bunch. You're on dope at 12. And that isn't progress. God knows what he's talking about. He might have been a monkey man, but anybody let his hands to it again. You ought to know your rights better than I know them. Well, no, I'm saying, once I was a tadpole, I began, then I was a monkey with my tail tucked in. Next I was a monkey, not a frog with my tail tucked in. Next I was a monkey in a banyan tree, and I'm a doctor with a PhD. And that isn't true. You don't come up like that. You don't go from puddle to paradise. You went from paradise chance to free to puddle where you went. I don't envy young people in America today. I know what they're up against. And it's plenty. You go to middle school and they don't tell you how you dress or how you should dress. They don't give you a Bible. They don't even allow you to bring a Bible to school. And the first time you get in the slammer, the first thing they'll do is give you a Bible.
Yeah.
That way you're shocked before they tell you the truth. That's a dirty trick for young people.
Sure is.
Well, the young man said, Father, give me the portion of good that falleth unto me. And so he divided his with him. The old man said, Son, I hope you don't go. I'm going. I'm tired of people around here telling me what time to get in and curfew and that stuff. I'm a man's man. I want to do my own way preaching. Got my way. Old man said, Son, you're foolish and you're young. Don't you go? Oh, shut up. I'm tired of getting preached at. I want to go. Old man said, I'm praying you won't go, so I'm going. The old man said, I hope you won't go. Bam at the door and out of the window. Now, you know what that means? That means God won't make you be good.
Yeah.
Some of you are waiting for Calvin to predestinate you to something or other, but you ain't going to make it. I'll tell you how that thing is. When you lean toward God, He leans toward you. And when you lean toward the devil, He leans toward you. And he didn't want the boy to go. Tried to stop him, he wouldn't go. They wouldn't stay, and went anyway. I don't want to see you go to hell. I don't relish talking about people in hell. My mother's in hell. Father's in hell. 2 uncles and aunts in hell. Most of them died from alcoholic. I don't get any thrill out of preaching about hell. If that book is right someday, I want to see my mother standing right there in judgment. Revelation 1. You hear the Lord say, Depart from you, cursed, everlasting fire. You think I enjoy thinking about that? I believe the book. Maybe you don't, but I do. And if I believe it, that's what's going to happen. I read my Bible, God doesn't like one of those tears in their eyes until after that judgment. There's going to be some bawling going on up there. I'd like to think about those things. But you take this business here, young fella, God will make you be good. Now, if you decide you want to be good, God will help you. If you want to be a clean-cut young man and be an honor to your father, your family, your country, and your God, and have God use you, all you got to do is lean toward God, He'll lean toward you. If you want to go be one of these 5 sackheads hanging around a gasoline station, blowing smoke out your ears, and talk about the hypocrites of the church, and the devil help. The devil can't make you bad, and God can't make you good. Well, you lean their way, they lean toward you. You young lady sitting there, hey, what kind of woman you want to be when you grow up anyway? You want to be like one of you sluts you see in the head of good housekeeping, what these magazines rack today. In 1920, that stuff would be all called pornographic. 200 magazines at a shot. That kind of woman you want to be, a bunch of men trail around after you like a pack of dogs. You want to be that kind of woman, you be that kind of woman. But this country's still that kind of woman. You can grow up there, you want to that kind and wind up with a busted home and a busted heart and a life shot with people. The devil helps you. Just lean toward him, he'll lean toward you.
Right.
Now, if you want to be a decent young lady and you treat her like a lady, men are smarter than you think they are, ladies. They know a lady when they see one. And if you want to be treated like a lady, then dress like a lady, and talk like a lady, and act like a lady, and look like a lady. If you want to be treated like a whore or a slut, then just follow Hollywood and live with it.
Amen.
Amen, 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 amen. That's all there is to it. All right, and if I say a certain man had 2 sons, the younger said, Father, give me the portion of good that falleth unto me. And he took his journey to a far country. You say, where's the far country? Well, it could be anywhere these days. Now, back when I was a boy, you had to go quite a distance before you wind up in a hellish place. Somebody told me one time to go to hell, and I went to the French Quarter in New Orleans, and down this place I could climb to it. But if you take back the days, you might have had to go to Hell's Half Acre and Honolulu, or Chinatown over in Manila, or one of those places, or Vegas, or Mexico City. You don't have to travel as far these days. You don't have to be to Chicago to be in a hellish, damnable place. They've got child pornography rings in Vermont, in the country. Now, where'd they get that stuff from? Where'd the country people get the idea that you got from the city? That's where you got it from. You got it from Hollywood, Chicago, and New York. That's where you got it from. All that kind of business. The far country. Now, a fellow said one time, he said, sitting right here in this church, you could be in the far country. And right now, sitting here in this church, if you love any book more than you love the Bible, and if you love anybody more than you love Jesus Christ, and if any hope is more precious to you than the hope of heaven, you've always started for the far country.
Right.
It's a matter of time before you will live there. There's stuff going on now in little old towns in Wisconsin and Minnesota, of populations of 1,000, that God saw them come over in the fire we're doing. If you don't know that, you never drove a taxi there. I'm going to hell in a mile an hour. And the young man said, I don't want to get out there and do what I want to do, what I want to do, and not many days after. Stop thinking about it. You got to read about it. Not many days after, off he went. And wasted his substance. Trained to try away he should go, and his old, he'll not depart from it. And I thought I got thinking about it, daydreaming about it, and pretty soon he's gone. Like I say, I don't envy young people at all. Just because I'm going to do what I want to do, I want to do it. So you got all up, give me a ring along with you, going up the mountain. And that's the bunch. Now, the father didn't want him to go, but off he went. The father tried to persuade him to stay, but he wouldn't stay. And you're free more later. If you want to go to hell, there's the door. Help yourself. Bye-bye. See you later. He said, oh, you're so crude to me. No, I just got good sense. I know people. I know spring chicken boy. Let me tell you, I've been preaching for 54 years. I've learned that if a man wants the truth, he'll take it no matter how you give it to him. Amen. And if he doesn't want the truth, he won't take it no matter how you fix it up. Amen. And you can sugar it up and butter it, make it like honey and what, he still won't take it.
You're right.
So when I preach, what I do is just like take a shovel like this. Catch! You want it, get it. You don't want to leave it alone. You know what's wrong? The far country no longer exists. The country's the city, and the city's the country. There isn't any country left. When I was a boy, we sang a song. I want a girl just like the girl that married dear old Dad. She was a pearl and the only girl Daddy ever had. Good old-fashioned girl with heart so true, one who loved nobody else but you. Now you boys looking for a bride, where are you going to find one of them?
Yeah.
In the public high school? By the time those girls been through there, they've been making around the backseat of cars like a pack of barnyard animals, and half of them shacked up everybody but the janitor. I mean, they've come together. When I was a boy, we had a railroad track right down the middle of the town. We talked about folks the other side of the tracks. You know what we're talking about? Which all the respectable folks live on this side of the track, and all the tracks live on that side of the track. But there's no railroad track going through anymore. And if you went to the biggest, richest doctors and lawyers in this town in their homes, you'd find African sex music booming out of boom boxes all over that cotton picking house. Amen. Well, put in your head. Go check them. I remember when I was out there, it's a matter of, where would you find a country girl? If you got back in the boonies way back in Virginia or North Carolina or some fine preach, and stepped in there and that booth tube bottle in the corner, and there's a Sears Roebuck catalog with all the girlies sporting underwear in it. And there's a picture of Elvis up there, you know, or some of the jackass. So we're in top of the things. There isn't any country anymore. It's all gone. Back in the old days when the guy would court his girl, he happened to sit out there in the parlor and the chaperone in the next room, you know. And my old grandfather clocked me behind him, you know, and he was sitting there talking to his girl, you know, courting. You know, and try to steal a kiss, you know, when that clock was going. You know what it's doing? It's saying, take your time, take your time, take your time, take your time, take your time. Now in the backseat of a car, they got these little wristwatches, they're going. It's all picked up. I was out there in Carolina preaching way back in the boonies there, and right before church I'd walk around about a quarter of a mile and pray before I came to church. And I just noticing the landscape. And Carolina dry landscape is great. I mean, I'm really a coward at heart. I've really been running from life all my life. Really, I have. I've had to face it. I've never wanted to be a leader. I care nothing about being anybody. I care nothing about getting anybody orders. I wouldn't take the city of Chicago if you gave it to me. Literally, the whole city. I'd dump it. I've been fooled about the next right. But I've always been put in place of leadership. Right now I have to teach 200 young people the Bible, anywhere from 17 up to 50, 4 nights a week. And I've got a pastor 700 active members. And I've got a correspondent of over 400 prisoners in jail and over 400 native missionaries overseas in 4 countries. I got 45 young men I've trained myself on the 4 and few preaching 8 different languages. I've had to raise 10 children and 14 grandchildren. And I never asked them. I tell No idea living in this. I guess I got some African blood in me. You know what I really enjoy? I enjoy just lying down on the bank of a river on a spring day under a mimosa tree and eating me some old yellow rice and Spanish rice and fried mullet and fried okra with some pepper sauce on it. Amen. Or maybe some homemade tacos with real stuff in them, not just the canned guacamole, but the real stuff in it. And jalapenos stuff there on top of Swiss cheese, and just put on an earphone with Mozart playing something, and just let the world go to hell. I didn't put this time. I never could do that. I'd like to run back to North Carolina and take a generator and go back there and build me a place where you can hit your neighbor with a 22. But I never get there. You can't have a ministry back in there. You don't place to have a ministry, a place like Chicago. Yep. You want to send them, or where's the pull up? And I'm walking around there praying, when I passed by a fellow's place out there, we covered it for a while, looking at it. Some farm guys are thinking off the dirt road, and the dirt road is 12 miles from a blacktop. You got these big old pine trees and oaks sitting out there, 40 acres, boy, huge old ranch style house made out of logs. Boy, what a beautiful place, man. And then right out in front, here's this great big solar dish sitting out there. So what's in that guy's house? A bunch of half-nude women doing the bumps in the grind, boy. Don't you know? That's what bumps in the grind, that's what they call it. Now, if you don't know, you never worked in a nightclub. But I serve drinks out. I know what they call it. I know what that stuff is. Don't kid me. I know what jazz means. Now, you don't. And the people who write the jazz articles, they don't either. And if they did, they wouldn't use the word. So I raised up there back in the 30s and 40s playing the jazz band. I know where the word jazz comes from. I wouldn't repeat it in public. You see that thing that you lost that distinction, you all got together. Why built a beautiful house back in the back of nowhere with all the animals and stuff that get away from the city, and then drag the cotton picking city right in your living room? It's a dumb thing to do. Well, the old man said don't go, and my older brother said to me about it too, although he's not recorded to say anything about it. And the Bible said, and there he wasted his substance with riotous living. The young man went out and he was inexperienced. He didn't know the world. He don't know what they do in the world. I know what they do out in the world. I know what everybody does in 24,000 miles in every direction. I've been all those places, but I've got some miles on it. I traveled 40,000 a year with a plane for 52 years. 40,000 a year. I've been up in the air along with a seagull with sore feet. I preached over there on the streets in Korea. My interpreter was song lady over there. I preach over in Ukraine, my interpreter, a major Taurus, KJV, converted fellow. I preach over in Germany, Rudy Hammer translates over there. I preach in Mexico, Wellen Jones translates over there. I preach someplace out over in Hyderabad, Bombay, and Kumar translates over there, all that kind of stuff. You know what people do out in the world? They make a living. Did you ever go up to Montana and says, deep sea fishing off Key West? Come there, you go down to Key West, and says, see the Blue Ridge in the fall. You go to the Blue Ridge and it says, see the Painted Desert in the Grand Canyon. You go up there and says, come to Seattle and fish for salmon. You go up there and it says, see the beautiful Canada. What are you doing? You know what they're doing? They're trying to get you to just go, and when you get there, you know what they're doing? They're selling and buying, selling and buying, selling and buying. You ever see Waikiki Beach? I'm in the original. It ain't that thing that goes put out for 9 head. You know, that's that thing they made public beach now. That stuff was private beaches. Waikiki Beach in World War II was just the land in front of the Royal Hawaiian Hotel. You couldn't have parked 45 cars on that beach. Those rooms in 1947 and 46 were $25 a piece for a single back in there. Well, a single was $25 a piece a night. Now what they are now, you probably couldn't even hardly say. But you see that beautiful Monocura in the moonlight and Sweet Leilani, Heavenly Flower and all kind of stuff. And you think of this big, beautiful, romantic thing, you know, they're making money, boy, hand over fist. They make money. That's what they do. They work. They make money. And this fellow starts out, are you going to really go off into your own, young fella, and tell your mom and daddy where to go and ignore them and be your own boss and what you want to do? You better have some shekels on you, boy. When you get out there, it's ain't nothing free. You gonna pay for it. They're all making a living. All right, the younger said, poverty is a portion of the fall from the million, so he divided them his way. And not many days after. And if not many days after, you get thinking about it and dreaming about it and joking about it and talking about it, and pretty soon you're going to go. And I preach the prodigal son all this country, big, huge young people rallies and stuff, sometimes 1,200 in there. I used to preach for all the Baptist, independent Baptist churches in Ohio, Indiana, and Michigan every summer at Camp Chicago. I've seen congregations there of 800 and 1,200 kids, all this picture for them. And I've seen kids come down there and they got through praying with that Lord. You could mop that thing up with a mop. Tears. A bunch of kids came to me one night and told me what happened back there where they were sitting, where their girlfriend was wanting to come down and their boyfriend was going to say, this little squirt about 50 years old, boyfriend was about 18. And they told me back there that same day, and she turned to her boyfriend and she was crying. And she said, Jim, won't you go down with me and get saved? He said, no, I ain't going down there. He said, I wish you'd go down there. I'll go down with you. She come down. He said, let's go to the far country. And she said, I'm afraid to. And he said, why? She said, we might not ever get back. He said, well, Ruckman got back. If he'd do it, I would. You better watch that stuff, kid. Ruckman got back, didn't he? What did he leave behind when he left? Ruckman got back, did he? Where's all Ruckman's brothers? You see him around here anywhere? How many fellows are World War II veterans? Let me see now. World War II. Put them up on this. I'll tell you what, I was in hell. The bunch I came in. Or in TV sanitariums, or in nut houses, or in rescue missions. You better have a take a chance like that. Maybe God ain't going to use you. You better watch yourself. Come on. A certain man had two sons, and one said, Father, give me the portion to this fall money, and so he divided them his way. Not many days after, didn't take long. He took his journey to a far country, and there wasted his substance rides with it. When I got him in a disco, something like that. Back when I was a boy, I don't know if they call them juke joints. Juke joints. Juke joint was an upholstered stool with indirect lighting for both sections. And you had different styles of juke joints. I mean, it depends on how much you made as to where you went. I mean, you made, maybe you made $1 an hour. You wound up around there, in the honky-tonk place, with the honky-tonk angels and Tex Williams, Eddie Arnold, and Hank Williams, and Punch Ross saying, kick me in the head with a beer can blues, or my wife left me, or your wife left yours, who cares who comes back? And the beer was 15 cents a can. Now, you made a little bit more, a couple dollars an hour. Then you went to the West Middle Acres Bowl on this big canvas of the Steel Pier in Atlantic City, and Tommy Dorsey, Jimmy Dorsey played, and Joe Stafford sang, I went to your wedding to dance at your wedding, got drunk at your wedding, or puke at your wedding, or something. And then, but the beer was more expensive. Their beer was 25 cents a bottle. You see, come up from cans to bottles. And you made $5, $6 an hour, and $7 an hour. This is back in the 30s. See? And back in there, you making pretty good money. Back those days, $5 an hour, real good money. If you made that much, you went to the Waldorf Astoria, they'd go to a beach hotel in downtown Chicago, and Xavier Cougar played La Food, Cosita, and Woodman Tango, and more evening dresses, and the champagne was 12 bucks a glass. The different levels of sin. And these Americans, they think sin in blue jeans, and gingham and calico is really bad, wicked stuff. But if you dress it up in lace and velvet and start driving Mercedes Benz around the Porsches around, that makes you decent. That don't make you decent. No. Just a different level of sin. You can't do nothing with sin. Sin is sin. All unrighteousness is sin. I mean, sin is like beans. I don't care what you would beans are still beans. And you can take beans and roast them or toast them or bake them or fry them and make ice cream out of them. And when you got beans, what you got? Anyway, I only said this, he said, go out and go down there and get me a nightclub, and I'm going to get me a blonde on one side and a brunette on the other. And I'm going to get me a Cadillac or a Porsche, and all day, and I'm going to drive back to the sick town, and I'm going to show them they can't treat me like this. I'm a man. No, I'll tell you what he is. He's a chump about to get his head cut off. You say, why? Well, This young lady, she's here at a juke joint, and she's living high in the hog and all chicken. She faints. And you take her mother was a harlot, and her daddy was a drunkard, and she wouldn't know the gospel if you saw it in daylight. You think she's happy? You say, oh, yes, she's happy. No, she's not. You say, well, yes, she is. No, she's not. You say, well, I can see, Brother Ruckman, she's smiling. No, she's not smiling. You say, well, I see by 2 eyes she's smiling. No, she's not. I just drew it to make it look that way. You see? And when the devil wants to get you, you know what he'll do to you? He'll paint sin up so she smiles like a May queen, and you'll think, aren't those people happy? No, they're not happy. They're not happy. Now, I played in those places. And I tried diddly and all the sorry houses, Della, and Sigma and Patton and all that kind of stuff, and played for the foreigners, and the owls and the bats and the buzzards and the coots and all that business, and played for the USOs, not UFO, USOs, and played for those places. You know, people in those places, they come and show off their boyfriend and their girlfriend and their clothes to convince you they're happy when they're just about half step in suicide. Most of them. So how do you know that? By the kind of songs they like. People, the songs that last out there in the world are not the happy songs. You take every now and then these cute little songs come up, you know. You have them called Mary Dokes and Dozy Dokes and Little Angie Dive, you know, and Whoop, get them got them out and shoot a naked happy tracks and I believe. Those songs don't last. You know what kind of songs last out there? I mean, I heard occasionally played the radio and they've been playing, I've heard them for almost 60 years. There's songs like, sometimes I wonder why I spend the lonely nights dreaming of a song, that melody haunts my reverie, and I am once again with you when our love was new, and each kiss an inspiration. Those last. What kind of song lasts out there? There's a song of broken hearts. You know why? Because unsaved people are miserable. And they make themselves look happy and act happy, but they ain't happy. The way of the transgressors of all. I know the kind of song that lasts out there. I know. Oh, don't let the begin to begin, let the love that once was a fire or made an ember, let it sleep like the dead desire, only remember, they last. Hank would get up and sing his song, and come and cuss his audience, and they'd laugh and cheer. And he'd sing about his blues, died out by heart, you know. He never made 50. Preston didn't either. And one of those big shots are sing those unhappy songs because they're miserable. That's why people like to hear them, because they're miserable. They have a rapport with each other. Let me tell you something. The time comes to die. You don't want some nut coming to your place there and sitting and singing you some piece of rock music, you know. Lean up with a hound dog or something like that. Or AC/DC coming there, you know. And when you come to die, you want to have somebody come and sit by your bed and read you John chapter 14 and hold your hand and sing, Jesus, lover of my soul, let me through thy bosom fly. You want that worldly crap. You know how long this has been singing A Sweet Bond Bond? Why don't you get the song book up today for it? You don't know one rock song that has stayed popular for 80 years. You can't name one. And nobody buys the sheet music to it. When I came up, they'd buy the sheet music, the popular songs, and play them in their own homes. Nobody buys it modern yet. You know why? It ain't worth listening to. That's the problem. There they are. Now, see that thing right there? Now you say she's smiling. No, you make it look like she's smiling. I just hate it, too. That's what they do in the news media and on the radio and on television, places like that. They present sinners as cheerful and happy. It's a wonderful comedy, you know, it's all full of fornication from start to finish. Yes. And these people, they're miserable. They're miserable. You read about a young lady, then you go by there, you see the ad out there in the street and the billboard, put the song in my heart, you know, got that. Some woman always smiling at you all about half dressed. And you pick the newspaper up 3 months later and you pop the pills, lying there dead, and has old 50 people at a funeral. Yeah. That woman that wrote Baby Place had 25 people come to her funeral. A national TV soap opera. 25 people. I've had old women in my church down there, farm women, just as homely as a mud fence. And when they died, they had 200 people come to the funeral. You're on the wrong track. Those those songs aren't the right kind of songs. You take what they do and then make them smile on the camera. Most of you fellas now, you've got to see a newscaster once in a while, because all the newscasters now are professional Hollywood models. It ain't up there saying before here. You can look at something, I think you look at that. And this time they're blinking, reading the sign off the camera. Don't kid me, they don't memorize that stuff they give a newscast. That thing's on the camera where they can look right at the camera and read off the script off the top of it. See? I've done radio screenplays and radio plays and screenplays and adapted books of movies. What they call the man who makes up the shots, you know, sketches each shot before the camera does it. That stuff is all fake. That woman before that camera, you know. And she gets off the camera. Hey, Joe, get me a blanket, drink out of that blanket. Yeah, man. Yeah, boy. I mean, haven't you noticed how pretty teeth all those models are? They make beautiful false teeth. Most of us things are homemade teeth. You know that? You know that? That stuff is all set up like that. It's fake. That's what it is. All right, now here they are. Here's this girl here. She's over here, and she's just getting a bad life. Knows nothing, no gospel, no Christianity, no Bible, no church, no nothing. You think she's happy? Well, she's smiling. They are told to smile. They're paid to smile. You can't buy anything out of a good woman like that. If you buy a new refrigerator, there she is eating get dressed by the refrigerator. You buy your car, she's got the automobile and bathing suit. Oh, yeah, man. Now, what's that for? It's to make you think they're happy. They're not happy. They're not happy. Now, see this girl over here? She's raised in a Christian church. And she went down there, you know, with the beginners, you know, they come down before church, they stand there and they say, Jesus loved me, this I know, because the Bible tells me so. Little ones to him alone, they are sweet, weak, he was strong. Yes, Jesus loved me. Raised in a Christian home. You say, what's she doing in a mud wallow like that? Well, as a julep goes with swine's snout, so is a fair woman without discretion. And the sow has returned to her wallowing in mud. Now, sister, if you want a Lord's sheep, you better get something settled. You can't be happy in a muddle. Come on. Sheep have no independence in themselves. Other animals can rub against the fence and scrape the stuff off or jump in the water and get rid of it. That sheep, when he goes down and comes out of that water, it's just kind of a dirty, muddy, gray, and brown. The shepherd has to clean it. The shepherd has to clean it. Come on. The shepherd has to clean it. Trying to clean himself. And you say, well, those people, yeah, you envy. If you look at them, you're jealous of them. And if I was going to give any young people any kind of advice or anything, I wouldn't waste 5 minutes with this Chuck Swindoll, Charles Stanley, sharing, caring, family, pressure, tension, bunk. I will tell you, if you're a young person, don't ever be envious of unsaved people. Yes. That's what I tell you. And when you see what they do, well, I've never done that before, and I wonder what it's like to do that. Don't you mess around to find out. No. You're going to waste your time. I count 27 years of my life just total waste. Just shot. I was in it, I still was in it. I was in it for religious dignitaries, didn't tell me how to be saved, didn't give me a chance. I always was in it. That's how it is. I used to have to show me right here. What's she doing? She's learning how to smoke. Let me tell you, the dumbest thing you ever see in your life is a young girl learning how to smoke. You ever see that? I'm the guy sits there and he throws up cigarettes, 3 of them higher. Well, 3 of them up, 1 behind the other 2. And she says, thank you, and takes one. And she taps it in the wrist, and she taps it in the plate, and she taps it in the table. You know what she's tapping it for, because she didn't do it in the movie. And then she puts the other end in her mouth and sticks out her neck like an ostrich, and that guy takes his flicker blade and pops that thing and almost burns the corsage off. And she sits back there and inhales. She doesn't know what to do with it. So, I mean, she wants to recline on the divan like Rita Hayworth, you know, or Farrah Fawcett. But she knows how to do it, so she got this like this, and I mean, she doesn't just dare blow it out. I mean, that would be unsophisticated to go. So, about that time, her boyfriend turned and looks at her, you know, and she goes, swallows. And then turned green in the face, just as sick as a sound of a snowstorm. You know something? If you young people make a bigger fool out of yourself for Christ's sake, as some of you are going to do for the devil's sake, you have a Bible around you all the time.
Yes.
Because you worry about it. What do they think? What do they think? You worry about what your peers think. What do you care what they think? If they fought right, they'd want the best for you. They wouldn't get in trouble. Isn't it strange? You know, a fellow gets saved anyhow. When a fellow gets saved anyhow and gets saved, you know, the first thing he does, he remembers every person that witnessed to him or prayed for him and tried to get him right.
Right.
And goes back and thanks him. You think he goes back to the bunch that taught him how to use the stuff? The birth control pill you ladies and learn how to play 5-card stud and 7-card draw goose and wild. You think he goes back to that crowd talking about a shoot pool? Well, he don't. You know that bunch. You know that poor, that bunch nothing. Down there in Pensacola, I still preach on the street. I preach on the street every spring and every summer. April, May, June, July, August. I preach on the street right in the town where I've been for 50 years. From my milkman can see me, my mailman, my TV repairman, and my doctors and lawyers see me outside there making a fool out of myself for Christ's sake. It don't bother me a bit. You know what? I don't owe them nothing. All that they didn't tell me how to get saved. They didn't care whether I went to hell or not. The world will be living in their behind 3 pants, as far as I'm concerned. It doesn't bother me a bit, you know what I mean. But you're so worried about offending somebody, upsetting somebody. What do my crowd think? You're not a man if you haven't done this. You ain't a man if you haven't tried that. You know what? Tell them to shut up. What you need is some young people today in these public schools that have guts to stand up and say no.
Amen.
You need some negative thinkers in those schools. That's what you need. They say, not a man if you did this, not a man if you did that. Say, well, maybe I'm not, but I'll give you a good idea what I want if you don't shut up. I mean, tell them no. Tell them no. Every dirty trick I ever learned, I learned below the boy coming up. Every one of them. And to want to be a part of the crowd, roll on the crowd, get along with the crowd. And that Bible said a companion of fools can be destroyed. I see this young lady here, you know, she used to sing, Jesus loved me, this I know, because the Bible tells me so. Little ones being along, they weak, but he was strong. Oh, here she is, and she's putting on a dog. You know, you think she's happy? A professing Christian. Well, that Bible says the backslider and heart shall be filled with his ways. If you're a sheep, you can never be happy in the mud always. So just don't try.
Amen.
There she is. Now here's this bunch here, and this young man was his idea of a good time there. Of the world, by the world, all. Was his living, man, this is living. Bible was a strange book. You know what this young man happened to this young man after he goes through this mess? After he goes through this thing, it says, when he came to himself.
Right.
That means he's temporarily out of his mind. When he came to himself. There they are. I wish you're not all close enough to the picture to see this. But I wish everybody here was close enough to this picture to see the space I'm going to draw over here. And to show you how this young man has how improved and how sweet he looks and how he's found the other answer, you know. He's got a beard now. Hippie, huppy, jumpy or something or other. And there he is going to this place, and every night, and pretty soon he gets tired of going to it. He gets to know the first night, gets to know Sally and George and the guy that owns the place, and the guy, Bob Rose, the bartender, and he pretty soon he knows the difference between a Cuba Libre, Rum Collins, and a Tom Collins, and a sidecar, and a boxcar, and a Manhattan, and a margarita, or a Singapore sling, and pretty soon he's tired of going. So they say, everybody's going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. Everybody's going to be there. No, I'm not. You say, well, who? I'm one. Don't say everybody. How many of you people in this building tonight don't use tobacco in any form? Go see your hands. Oh, and how many people don't use alcoholic beverages in any form? Go see your hands. Oh, I hear we'll get the Mars and the Lions Den. How many of you kids between 15 and 30 don't attend mixed dances of any kind? Go see your hands. All right. Now, you folks that do those things, you don't mind us giving a testimony, do you? Oh, come on, you're a broad mind, aren't you? Don't you know you are? What happens is the world makes up a street. You think everybody does those things. Everybody don't do those things.
Right.
One time a farmer down there in Mississippi, Alabama had some construction come out and drain one of his catfish farms out there. And they said, why? He said, there must be 1,000 bullfrogs out there at night and I can't sleep. They're back there, ready, going along. found 4 bullfrogs. And they said, well, why'd you tell us there's a couple of hundred? He said, they're making such racket, I thought there's more of them. Don't you see what the world does? The world just dings in your ears, this stuff, day and night and day, and you think that's normal for everybody. It's not. It's not. I think there's those fellows doing down there, he's pretending he's a man of the world. He's putting on a show. But nothing more stupid in this world than a young person trying to act like an older person, unless it's an older person trying to act like a younger person. and you see the craziest stuff. I saw a guy one time down in Fort Walton get out of a car, and he must have been about, maybe a little younger than me, about 60, had a pot belly and chicken legs, looked like a leaky fountain pen running down his legs. And he steps out of that car and he got on these Bermuda shorts, look like underwear to me, and Bermuda shorts and low-heel patent leather shoes. And he gets out of that thing and walks across the gas station like this. Pot belly sticking out, those chicken legs sticking out there. I thought to myself, what does that guy think he looks like anyway? You can't imagine that fellow go like that in public looking like that, unless he's got some crazy idea what it looks like. You ought to, if you want to see it, you ought to come out of Pensacola and see that speech and something. There's every type of costume thing. You would think you look at 20 centuries of costumes on 10 different continents down there. Go by barefoot, sandal feet, boots feet, high heels, low heels, thongs, leather, rubber, shorts, G-strings. And they're going by there, and they got some of them have wool caps on, some have major flaps on, some of them dressed like Scotchmen, some of them dressed like ballet dancers. Everybody's acting. Everybody's acting. You see a woman about my age going by there, about 300 pounds overweight, dressed in a bikini. Looks like an elephant in a diaper. And you know what it is? That thing is, the world is putting on a show all the time. They're pretending. Back when I was a boy coming up, and the army later on, we had what we call zoot suiters. I don't know if you've ever seen a zoot suiter or not. But they all have the shoulders built clear out to here so they look like they're men, you see. And then peg leg pants and had a watch chain that swung around this way. And they'd stand up to the corner and swing this watch on, cigarette drum, and I'm a tough guy, tough guy. I saw some of the guys come to the circus. I know G.I. Barber put them up in the chair. He took that thing and he went, as a cue ball. And I'm thinking I'm lying, but I've seen those street hoods off New York and Chicago sit in that chair 18, 19, crying. Because they put it in lots of these cities. And I was acting tough out there with a switchblade. Some of those birds, they'd pass out if they had a gut of catfish. You know what that stuff is? You know what that stuff is? That's pretense. It's show. It's pretense. And the young man kept going, he kept going, and then he got tired of going. Everybody gonna be there, everybody gonna be there. So he wasted his substance with riotous living. Wasted. Look down there, if you got a textbook, look down there somewhere around verse 14, 15, 16. And he's out there and he said, and when he had spent all, money was gone, he went and joined himself to a citizen of that country. And that citizen sent him in the field to feed the swine. And he was so hungry, he was afraid to fill his belly with the husk the swine to eat. And no man gave him a million. What do you have? What's talking about there? What his money ran out, his friend ran out. You makes the world go around? Shekels, boy, shekels. You get rid of money, and you find your friends or something vanished in some place. One of the greatest things about being saved, and I know what it is. One of the greatest things about being saved, you're going to meet a bunch of people that will help you out and love you no matter what you have. That ain't the whole life. You can't count that much in your life. They'll say you out as soon as the shekels go. And he spent all of those money farming that land and began to feel alone. And he went and joined himself to a citizen in that country, unsaved man. And that citizen went to the field to feed his swine, hogs. And he was so hungry he wanted to eat the hogs. It doesn't say that he did. It doesn't say he got that low and eating hog slop. But he got that hungry. But he said he was so hungry that he was afraid to fill his belly with the slop the hogs and the swine to eat. And that fellow came to the end of his rope. And he came to the end of his rope real quick. And in a way, that's good. That's good. Down south, we have a real problem with the gospel. I preach in places where, no, and I'm not exaggerating anything. I preach in places where there are men in those revivals that have been to 2 revival meetings every year since they were 6 years old. And they're not saved yet, and they're in the 70s. You talk about them and say, well, I reckon I'm going to get saved someday, preacher. Well, I'm aiming to. I'm aiming. I say, well, quit aiming and fire. Well, I get so I can live it, I'm going that kind of stuff. They've heard the gospel all their life and pull it off and pull it off. I'm going to tell you something. If you're here tonight and you're unsaved and you're older than you're 50 years old, you are in bad trouble, buddy. I don't give a flip if you're the mayor, the president. If I talk before the UN, I wouldn't talk any different. I'm talking right now. When you get over 50 years old, you know what happens as you get older? You get more self-righteous. You know why you do? Because you see so many people do things wrong. And you get thinking, well, he does it, I'm better than him, and he does it. He says he's a Christian, but it gives you a sense of false confidence and security. The more you see Christians mess up, you think, well, if they're all right, I'm all right. No, you ain't. You're not right. You've accepted God's righteousness. You can't hide behind some Christians, but that's how you tend to get. I was with a person I worked one time up in Carolina, someplace there. When I first began my ministry, the ladies breastfed the baby of the church. I mean, I began from the beginning. I'm back up there on top of, Little Abner country. And they didn't have any nurseries. Didn't have electricity. They put their stuff in the mountains, cut a hole in the mountains, and ice, and that was their refrigerator over the winter. And you take, I preach, you got a kerosene lantern and a coal lantern to preach by. Every time you wave your hand, you almost set the building on fire. That's why I began back in there. And you take back in there, there are people back in there who heard the gospel, 2 and 3 times a day for almost a century. And they're not saved yet. I told a little farmer back there one time, and he was back in the backyard, and he was slicing a pig shack. I came alongside him. I was young back in those days. I was about 30, 35, 36, 37 along there. I came to this old fellow, he was about 72 or 75. I said, how you doing, Pop? Well, okay, young fella, what you got to say for yourself? We got talking. My witness didn't know how to get saved. He said, would you like to get saved? He said, well, I'll study for a while. I said, go on. I said, bet you can study all your life, haven't you? He laughed. Said, well, I reckon I have. I said, go on, Pop. I said, put on your hammer. Listen to you right down here to the fence and get saved, okay? He said, I'm going to study for a while. And I said, you've been studying all your life, man. Well, I need to wait a little bit longer. Thanks and things through. I said, some old man, I said, you know what you are? You're a fool. And he glared at me and said, what you call me a fool for? I said, you have no happiness in this life. You have no happiness in the world to come. You're a two-time living. You're a sucker. You're a chump. You're a fool. My old man scratched his head and he said, well, I reckon maybe you're right. I said, come on, Pop. I said, put on the hammer and let's do here you get saved, okay? He said, I'm going to study for a while. No, he ain't. School's out. Door's locked. Rust in the lock. You did good in hell with the door shut. All right, then he sat there. Keep coming down there a little bit further, about verse 17, I guess, somewhere in there. And verse 17, he's sitting there, he's sitting out there and feeding the hogs and slopping the hogs. And he says, how many of the servants of my fathers have bread to spare, and I have perished with hunger? I will arise, go to my father, I'll say, Father, I've sinned against heaven in thy sight, and I'm no more worthy to call thy son. Come down to it. When he came to himself, that means he's temporarily out of it. That's yourself out of the box there when he was knocked unconscious in the ring. You say, and come to you. He comes to himself and he's insane again. You see, brother, how different the Bible is. In the world, this is living. That's what you're living. Now you done lost your mind. In the Bible, you lost your mind. Now you're coming around. Amen. Yeah. And he says, how many servants of my fathers have bread to spare, and I perish with hunger? I'll arise and go to my father and say, Father, I sinned against heaven and before thee, but in thy sight I'm no more worthy to be called thy son. That fellow got comparing things, and so he's the end of his rope. He said, my slaves back in the plantation get better food than I do. I'm a fool to sit out and talk and die like this. Come the end of his rope. Come the end of his rope, and came the end of his rope soon. And thank God he did as soon as he did. Like I say, the old geezers up there in the mountains, 80 and 90 years old, haven't come to themselves yet. Ray sitting there, emaciated, torn up with drugs, and beat up with drugs, sitting about a wall, well, he couldn't get a job. Probably arrested a couple of times in prison, that kind of thing. Things over, and he says to himself, I'm just a fool, just a fool. God gave him passions, splendid as the sun, a part of nature's full fertile heart, and now behold what hath he done in folly's court, and carnal pleasures marred. He flung the wealth God gave him out the start, a soul for stupid sin and fun. At dawn he stood potential pure, with manhood and emotions keen, heart and soul afire. At noon he slouches. Life's fortune spent in petty traffic, temporal, mean, a pauper, curse, by centuries out there slopping around. The young lady, you know what the devil do with you when he's through you? You better slopping pigs.
Sure.
When the world applauds for you, isn't she beautiful, you know? Miss Chicago, Miss Illinois, Miss America, Miss Universe, when they applaud you, the blood of Jesus Christ splatters off those hands. Those are the hands that nailed you to the cross. Stop, stop, stop. Anytime you got that, next time you're on the double date, talk to that kid about his soul, watch what happens. Say, Charlie, you've been saved? You probably signed your bread brother on your court.
Amen.
Or have no use for Christ. They got no use for your Savior. You'll be out there slopping on what you'll be doing. You're probably so hungry you can eat the stuff. You got sitting out there and thinking, back home, I'm not a decent meal, or what am I doing out here? And they got to do some thinking. Car went by. Some guy said, let's pick that poor kid up, and the wife said, don't touch him. He'd probably take your jackhammer and knock you over the head and steal the car when they go by. Bunch of high school kids, college kids go by there. Hey there, buddy, what you doing? Pitch out a fifth out there, or half. One bottle half full of things bounced along the side of that young buck. And he looked at that thing and he went, you know why? When you get to the end of the road, the show do look different when you start out. That's why. And he sat out there and he began to think, how many sons my fellows have bread to spare? I perish of hunger, and I will rise and go to my father and say, Father, I have sinned against heaven, not just against people, against God. David says, against thee, thee only have I sinned and done this evil in thy sight. You got to think. You can pay for any sin you commit against me in a lifetime, you can pay for it. Because I ain't going to live, it ain't going to make long as you're going to live. You sin against a man, you pay for it. Lifetime in jail. I'm asking you something. What happens when you sin against someone that lives forever? You won't think about 4 or 5 years. I have sinned against heaven before thee. Why, listen. If you got a double life or life of a murderous serial killer, something like that, what kind of sin are you going to have to commit to where you get sentenced eternally to burn? Well, it sure couldn't do some little thing like murder. That's kid stuff. You pay for that here. I've seen them play. They take the hot squad, boy, they ride old like them. Now, Ray, because the light go down and come back up, boy. He's riding a little sparky. I know those things go. Now, what kind of sin do you have to commit to burn forever? That has to be some sin, wouldn't it? A sin against me can be paid for 90, 100 years. But how are you going to pay for a sin against somebody who lives forever? You won't pay for it. He said it's modern. No, that's just as ancient as air and sunshine and mountains and water. The one that made it. You sin against him, you pay for it forever. You see this young fellow doing out here? He's reaping what he sowed. His ship's coming in. He sent out the ships when he was leaving home, and now he's got to unload his own ship. Sitting out there stump by the highway someplace, trying to get a ride. Nobody pick him up. That fellow sitting out there going to do it, he's reaping. Been out to sea, God is not mocked. Whatever man sows, that should also eat it, sow in the flesh. Shall the flesh reap corruption, if so the Spirit, shall the Spirit reap everlasting life, and be not weary well doing, for due season we shall reap if we faint not. He loaded the boat up, and now he's got unloaded himself. Did you know that if Elvis Presley lived to be 60 years old, he'd be a Republican? And the Beatles all would be Republicans. They'd be conservative. You know when the fellow gets past 40, he starts getting conservative? Boy, I don't know why. You see what he burns out. Don't kid yourself. Don't kid yourself. Some of you folks get around right now, if you had to keep up me up on the blacktop of your bare feet, you couldn't go 2 miles, and I'd be going 4. I didn't burn out at 40, and didn't burn out at 50. I'm still, playing hockey with these guys, 25 and 30 years old. You want to see what a hockey puck looks like? Like that one. I think I'm there 90 miles an hour and pop you there, boy, you'll feel it today. Now you think I'd burn out or something? You know why you get conservative when you're past 40? Because when you get past 40, you have time to see some of the ships come back in that you sent out before you was 20. And it's scary. Some of you folks just have to live long enough to see your ships come in, someday they'll come in. I get up to be about 27 years old, and the Lord said, okay, Ruckman, reaping time has come, go down the dock. I go down at Pier 5 and Honolulu, or Pier 9 and Manila, I forget which. And I go down there and I take my ship and in it comes, and I pick up the hatch and look in there and boy, what a steak. I mean, dead potatoes and eggshell, rotten eggshells, and coffee grounds, and broken glass and dead shrimp. My God, what a steak. I can't unclude the steak. Of course, did you send it out? I said, I didn't send that out. And the Lord said, well, you always reap more than you sow, don't you? Put a coin, your ear coin on the ground. You don't plant here that long. You plant something else big as your big man. Look what comes up. And I go down the fourth, and I find one of my buddies, and I say, hey, would you help me? He said, why is that, Lord? I said, I've got a ship down here I've got to unload, and I can't unload it. He said, I can't help you. You got 5 of mine, I got to unload up here. And that's where he is. That's where he is. There are 2 cups a young person can drink of. You can take the cup of the Lord and call upon the salvation, the cup of salvation, call upon the name of the Lord, or you can take the Bible called the cup of devils. And the Bible says, look not upon the wine when it's red, but give its color in the cup and move itself right. At the last, it bites like a serpent and stings like an adder. The Bible says, in the bottom of that wine cup, as the serpent coiled up to strike you and poison you on head and foot. And that's where he got. You ever see those 2 cups? You look at one, you hold it like this, and it sparkles, and you hear the click of the dancing heels, see the skirt swirling, and see the flashing teeth, and hear the music, and you say, boy, yeah, man, that's from me. You take a swig of that and say, yeah, that stuff's good. The other lady just say, this stuff isn't quite as good as I thought it was. The other lady said, this stuff is bad. The lady just said, I gotta quit this stuff. The lady said, I can't quit. And you get down by my thing, and boy, that thing falls up, and boy, you had the book. Now you take the other cup, the Lord's cup. You look at it and say, my God, what's that? You take a sip, you say, oh, it's killing me. You take another sip, you say, well, I might as well go ahead. You take another sip, you say, stuff isn't as bad as I thought it was. And you read it a bit more, this stuff's getting good. And this morning, this stuff's getting great. And you get down to the bottom of that thing, down to the bottom of that cup is a well of water springing up in everlasting life. You see, one tastes bad, one tastes good and gets bad, and one tastes bad and gets good. That's right. No second-hand information, folks. I'm not just preaching, I'm just telling you how it is.
Amen.
I've been on the wrong side of the fence for 27 years, and I move pretty fast. If you pilot in Christ, the record on that radio station, I looked like I was 45. He was 35, looked like he was 15. Clean of him. I was sitting behind that console, drums on a dance band at night, disc jockey in the daytime. Sitting there, and a pilot, country preacher came in and sat down and began to preach, and the Lord said, now you sit over there. He said, you talk to him when he comes out. I said, I hate him. don't think he's a man, just check it. So I said, okay, I'll check it. So he comes up and goes by the door, knocked the door, but the radio stood right. I said, hi, preacher, what do you know? He turned around and says, I know the Lord Jesus Christ, what do you know? Well, that was a nasty tongue. I like to swallow my stogie. And I said, well, I don't know him. He said, would you like to know him? And I said, I don't know. And he said, well, would you be willing to ask him to save you? I said, I guess so. He said, come here. I've been reading the stolen Bible for about 2 months and taking a convert course with a Jesuit priest out there in my rope. I always was fooling and all that stuff years ago. And I went back in the record room. He took out a Bible and said, you believe this is the Word of God? And I said, yeah, that's it. I wouldn't have said that otherwise. The last time overseas in the Philippines, my company commander pulled a Bible on me. He said, Ruckman, you are reading stuff. Let me read you something out of this. I said, I'll put that away a lot of baloney. I call that book baloney. Lord, that one quits for me, boy. By the time I'd written that thing drunk in for a drunken grave, I said, that's it. And he said, you believe you're a sinner? I said, yeah, I know I'm a sinner. Do you believe Christ died for sinners? I said, well, I guess he did. I wasn't trying to be funny. I didn't know. I know the priest said he did, but I didn't know if the priest was lying or not. He said, you think you could save a sinner? I said, beat the fire on me. He said, would you ask him to save you? I said, sure. So I took his hand. He said, now, in your own words, ask Christ to save you. Now, if he'd known how I was going to pray, he wouldn't have said that. Because any guy came up where I came up, the way some of you came up, I pulled out a word with every other word. And these guys you work with during the daytime cuss all day, a lot of those stuff, they don't even know what they're saying, honest to God. They just get used to talking that way. The blankety blank this, and the blankety blank that, and the blankety blank. And that's why I was. I don't know everything. And I took him out of the hand. He said, now just in your own words, ask Christ to save you. And I said, I don't know how to pray. I didn't. I knew, Hail Mary, and I thought coming in and help, he didn't seem to come and put the beads and all that stuff. But I didn't know how to pray. And he said, just in your own words, he said, ask Christ to save you. So I thought, I said, Lord, I'm a blankety blank sinner, and God will go to hell, sure as blankety blank, if something don't happen for it, blankety blank quick. I'm not cussed through the prayer. And God told the end of it and said, God save my soul for Christ's sake, amen. And I looked up in my, and I said, what you laughing at? He said, nothing. He said, you not try. I said, GD right, I'm not that prayer. And I did, see, I wasn't trying to be smart. I did, I meant it. And he said, if you want that prayer, you're saved. I said, I don't feel different. He said, you're not supposed to feel different. I said, how do I'm saved? And he said, yes, no, you just know. I said, no, I don't. He said, yes, you do. I said, I do not. He said, you do so. I said, I don't either. Getting my hair there for a minute. And he reached and pulled out a Bible and showed it to me, and he said, read it. And I read it. It said, these things are written unto you that believe on the name of the Son of God, that you may know you have eternal life. God said there, you know you have. Now, do you know or don't you? I looked at that thing and I said, yeah, I guess I do. He just said to say yes or no. And I said, no. He said, do you know? I said, well, I never got such a mess on my mind. I've never had any trouble arguing with people. I could always think of something to say in less than 2 seconds. But that guy had me up a tree wall. I feel like in a hard place. I thought if I said I was saved, I was lying, because it didn't feel like I was. I said, well, and he said, you don't think God's a liar, do you? No, you don't lie. Well, God said, there, you know you're saved. Do you know what I mean? I said, well, yeah, I know. And I felt like I was lying when I said it. Well, boy, next Youth for Christ night, Saturday night, I went out there, boy, and I heard the first gospel message I ever heard in my life. College graduate, 27 years. Heard it the first time. I thought it could be in the United States for 27 years of college education over here. They sang just around that one plea I'd never heard it before. About 5 love, you didn't have to sing 2 stanzas for me. Now, some of you folks have got to sing 4 or 5 stanzas before you come. I think your problem is you're stupid, to be frank with you. I mean, I knew something good when I saw it. But if you came through what I came through, you'd know something good if you saw it. The trouble is you haven't had enough mud and sewage and garbage yet to satisfy you.
Right.
That's your problem. I didn't need 2 stanzas, but saying just sign up, bam, I was down there. 12-year-old girl came down. You think he didn't make a perfect? I had a black shirt, a yellow necktie, and a mustache. Weighed 185 pounds and 28-inch waistline, so me that didn't love myself. I could have a guy 6 feet 2 jump up down my belly in his boots and it wouldn't blush or anything. And 4 cigars in this pocket, 4 cigars in that pocket, and here's this 12-year-old girl standing beside me. Whosoever will, let it come. They always singing, you know, blessed be the tie that binds the hearts in Christian love, the fellowship of kindred minds. I'm standing there, shaking hands. I thought I was shaking hands with angels. If you told me some of those old women were talking about each other and the kids were necking out there in the parking lot and they had received the money, I'd be ready to shoot you. Live and learn, eh, boy? I just came out of the night so black and everything else was clean, you know. And they finished that thing, and that night, the buses didn't run that end of town that night. It was up too far in the country, so I had to hitchhike back. I didn't have any car. At that time, my family was busted up, and I was drinking myself to death, didn't have a car. And I was walking back there, nobody picked me up. About that time, the devil got working on me again. Fine bunch of Christians. They give you a ride home. You call it Christianity? Those fine bunch of Christians. Anybody offer you a ride home? Yeah, Christian. I was a Christian. You know. And about that time, a car stopped right behind me. The guy said, hey, you want a lift? I was about half an hour here on Sunday morning. I got up and did a little walking, exercise, went around a couple of blocks down there on the highway, and it began to rain, catch some dogs, you know what. And I came around there, and I had my suit on and everything, and began to get soaked, no umbrella. And half the building around there don't have any on, you know. And I began to trot for the hotel and pray, and God helped me, God stopped the rain, God let me get over the soaking wet, though. It don't mind me, I preach soaking wet, but you be shocked, I know you people. And I said, God, give me help. And a car stopped right in front of me. They said, are you going to church? And I said, yeah. She said, well, get in. And it was a Christian woman, a Baptist. Just happened to come out of the driveway there before I was crossing something. And God went, well, here I'm out there walking home. You all right? I said, well, right. Oh, yeah. So down and got his wife. They'd been at church. They're coming back from church. And I sat in the back seat, and they said, we were at church tonight and saw you accept Christ as Savior. I said, yeah, I did that. They said, you never regret doing that. I said, no, I guess I won't. I didn't know nothing. I said, read out. It struck me as not a room. And I'm looking out the window like this, and this dark night, and I'm thinking, yeah, you got to learn to talk. Best thing you ever did. You got your car here, you got your family with you. Well, what do you know about you? What you thinking? And he didn't know what I mean, just talking. And he said, yes, sir, that's the greatest thing a man can do. You did the right thing tonight. His wife said, amen, you certainly did, young man. I said, yeah, I suppose so. And I think to myself, yeah, you got to learn stuff. You got a job, and how to work, and all this kind of stuff. And he said, well, I don't know what I'm thinking. He says, you know, he said, I never had a mother or father. So I was raised in an orphanage. And he said, I accepted Jesus Christ, my Savior, when I was 11 years old. Ever since then, I've been just happy as a big in the sun. I said, Lord, I'll shut up. And I got back my little flat there, you know, pins in a bit of can to spit in. And I got it enough around in the dark, and I never worked me over again. You crazy running out here tonight and not say, what do you mean to say? What do you mean to say? You can't live it. You'll be back where you were before very long. What do you mean say all that stuff? You can't live it. Your family's all, what about your family? And the Lord said, when the Holy Spirit witnesses, it's never this startling loud thing you hear these charismatics from with. It's always still and quiet. The wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, full of good fruits. Now I'm leaving there, and the Lord says, it's all right now, Pete, it's all right now. I try to work myself out of it. You're a proof. Running out of this Bible stuff, you're getting to be a fanatic. You better see a psychiatrist in the morning. And the Holy Spirit says, it's all right now, Pete. It's all right now. It's all right now. Bring peace to my troubled soul, boy. And let me tell you, I knew I was saved then. I had absolute assurance I was saved. Well, it's 54 years later now.
Amen.
You know what the Lord's telling me? It's all right now, Pete.
Yes,
It's
sir.
all right now. Oh, buddy trip on drugs. I said, brother, please, I got the best junkie in the world you ever saw. I got mine free, and my trip out for 54 years, you was just young 3 weeks. Amen, amen. All right, he says, I will rise and go to my Father. Then thank God for verse 20. I think it's verse 20. And he arose. Is that verse? And he arose. Thank God for that verse. He didn't sit there and die on his stumps. Now, I'm going to say something in favor of this young man. I haven't been very complimentary of him, because in the Bible it's all backwards. In the Bible, that's and the world, that's the hero. And that's the hero's girlfriend and the love triangle, you see. But the hero of this story is not the young man. It's the old man.
Yes.
It's the father. For you, the hero always has to be a young man. Karate kicking, punching, killing, blowing away AK-47, all that kind of junk. And that Bible, that fellow is nothing but a profligate, unappreciated, conceited bum. I'll say one thing for him. When that young kid said he was going to do something, he didn't waste all day. He got it done. That young fellow said, I'm going out to the far country. Off he went. I'm going to live like the devil. He did. I'll arise on my father, and he gets up. I'll say that for him. He got up, got off the stump. I know men like I say in Carolina, Alabama, and Georgia, and Mississippi has been sitting that stump there for 40, 56 years and hasn't got up yet. Thank God he got up. And listen, when he got up, don't you know what happened? Don't you know what happened? You probably wouldn't know unless you've been saved late in life. Now, if you're saved after you're 30 or 40 or 50, you know what I'm getting to say. But if you're saved young, you wouldn't understand this. You know how he got up? Well, he took about 3 steps, and one of his old buddies showed up. Old buddy. He goes right there. And he said, hey man, where you going? Oh, I'm going back home. You never can make it. 300 miles, you're going to walk. You're never going to make it. Well, maybe I won't, but sure I'm hungry. I'm sure tired of this hog slop. He took a couple more steps, and one of his old buddies showed up and said, you know, your old man will whip the tar when you get back. You know that, don't you? Well, that may be true. I smell that red-eye gravy and catsup biscuits and corn and caramel. I'm going. 2 more steps. Hey, man, what about that blonde, that brunette he said go and bring back for you? Oh, you take me a time to mess with him. A couple more steps. Hey, man, how about that Mercedes Benz? He said, I can't make the payments, you make the payments. And he walked along there. After he walked about a mile, his feet got kind of pink. And he walked about 2 miles, he had blisters, and he walked 3 miles with blood in his spot out there on the highway behind him. He didn't care. He going home. You know why some of you fellas don't get off the thing and going home? You got a taste for hog slop, that's your problem. You get tired of eating the hustle of this world and you get hungry for God, there's not enough devil in hell that can do for Christ.
Amen.
Your problem is you got a taste for it. Yeah, that's the problem.
Right.
I preached one time down in Mobile, Alabama, and got the invitation. The little boy back there, about 6'6", farm boy, and he'd done the condition the whole service, this thing here, and without the invitation, he reached across the seat in front of him and hit his buddy on the back like a knocked him over 2 benches. And he said, Sam, he said, I'm going down there to get something real. Down he went. Down he went. You can't keep a man from God when he gets hungry for God. And the trouble with you folks, a lot of you, you're not hungry. You're satisfied with pig slop. That's your problem. You're welcome. There's more where that came from. All right, ladies and gentlemen, keep on reading. He arose and came to his father. And when he was a great way off, his father saw him and ran and had compassion and fell on his neck and kissed him. And the son said, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before thee, and I'm no more worthy to be called thy son. And he didn't get to finish it. He was going to say, make me as one of the hired servants. And his daddy wouldn't let him. His daddy said, don't tell me about the rest of it. And he said, bring forth the best robe, put it on him. Bring forth shoes, put them on his feet. Bring out a ring, put it in his hand. Bring him the fatted calf, let's kill it. And let's eat and be merry, for this my son was dead is alive. And he was lost, but now is found. Look at that last verse down there. And they began to be merry. Just said they began, don't they? When did they finish? They never did. When you come home, trust Christ, your Savior, God Almighty, spread the man you up there across the sky, at the mind of the land, you sit down on a piece that never ends. That's what's going on.
Great. Yeah.
Now notice it said he had compassion upon him and ran and fell upon his neck and kissed him. Now what does that mean? That means the old man saw the boy coming before the boy saw the old man.
Yes, sir.
That means the old man was waiting for him. Now you know he's waiting for him. You know he's waiting for him because you don't fight a calf overnight. And you take that, when you try to visualize these things, and I try to visualize them, and maybe I haven't got the picture right all the time, when I see this season, what I see is old antebellum home down south in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, on a plantation. They'll have servants. This fellow's going to go back and sleep in the servants' quarters, work out in the field, chop cotton. And the old man's still waiting for him. The old man been waiting for him for days and weeks, waiting for him, praying all the time. Walk the floor at night. His wife said, "Won't you ever come to bed? That boy was no good anyhow. Had some kind of bad blood in him somewhere. Quit your worrying yourself to death and get some sleep." The old man walked the floor at night. God, please save. God, please bring him back. God, no, he's young. He's so stupid. And so forth. You know, God wants the devil to get him. No, God, have mercy upon him. God, know where he is tonight. All that stuff for days and days and days. And then in my mind's eye, I see my friend that balustrade around that porch, those porch roofs, those antebellum homes, looking out across that plantation, long about sundown. He looks out across there, and about that time, the colored man comes up and says, "Boss," he said, "This stuff is ready. You better come on." He said, "Okay, I'll be there in a minute." And he said, "Mrs. says it's on the table." He said, "I know you're right. I know you're right. I was just watching the sun going down there over there. Sunset." And the colored man said, "Boss, the sun ain't going down over there, it's going down over yonder." He said, "I know you're right, but I was just watching it down, shining out those trees down at the lane." And he got looking down about that time, he saw something come by the lane, and he got up, and he fell down, and he got up, and he fell down, and he said, "Yonder, here he goes." And broke his neck, get down the stairs to get to it. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
If you started to listen all the night to get right, God would beat you there. The Lord is more anxious to get you right than you are to get right. That's what kind of God you're dealing with.
Praise the Lord.
This great big bang out someplace trying to invent hydrogen atoms and stuff and carry all the galaxies and star clusters. That ain't the God of that Bible. The God of that Bible, if he was back to the farthest confines of the universe making new galaxies, and so you head his way, he'd run to meet you. Praise God. He's all funny ideas about those kind of things. Ran to meet him. And then the sun starts, and the sun starts, and how does he start? He comes home and says, "Father, I realize that under the tension and stress of the modern age, I was able to adjust my innate potentialities and capacities in such a heteronomous way as to overcome the influence thereof." Oh, shut your mouth. I mean, some folk got some education, they couldn't get to Christ, they were trying. God doesn't say smile, it's like that. You come to God like a pauper, you go away like a prince. And you come to God like a prince, you go away like a pauper with the blood running off you. But don't start all that stuff. You want to get a blessing, you come to God and say, "Look, I'm dirty. I got this stuff all over me. I can't get clean. I'm tired of it. Take me back. I'll scrape the black off or wash in your kitchen or take the dandelions out, clean the bricks if you want to. But for God's sake, clean me and take me back." And you come to God like that, brother, he'll slide over the wardrobe of heaven and take out a loaf of rice and throw it over your shoulder, and you want that floor down to pull off the ground. Amen. Praise God, who won't blessings flow. You come to God like a prince, you go away like a beggar. You come to God like a beggar, you go away like a prince. That's all over that. This my son was lost and was found. He was dead and was alive, and then began to be married. Just started having a good time, and never quit having a good time. Is that the case with you? Out in the woods, wild and drear, sadly I wandered for many a year, driven by hunger and filled with fear. I will arise and go backward once more, my steps retrace, seeking my heavenly Father's face. Way to take but a servant's place, I father and home. Oh, that I never had gone astray. Life was all radiant with hope one day. Now all its treasures I've thrown away. There I rise and go. Something is saying God loves me still, though I have treated his love so ill. I must not wait, for the night grows chill. I must arise and go back to my father and home. Back to my father and home. I will arise and go back to my father and home. You know what the young fellow got when he got home? He got what he went out to get. You know what young men like? I'll tell you what you like. You like good clothes and good food and money. And that young man came back, and he got a gold ring for coming back, and he got a fatted calf to eat, and he got rejoicing, and got him a robe of righteousness and shoes on his feet. What you want, young fella, is in the Father's house. Amen. And Christ said, no man comes to the Father but by me. God help you. Father, bless your word tonight. Now for your honor, may it bear fruit in the lives these Christians have heard. I pray especially for young people here tonight, the ones that kind of lean that way. Hearing the stories, getting the news items, and watching the boob tube, and this world is beginning to get glamorous to them and desirable. Now therefore they waste their life out there with the hogs in the hog slop. They'll return to the Father. Let's pray a little while. Prayer, we've got some prayer a little while. And some of you tonight probably need to let's come to the altar here and be here a while, and we won't rush you. If you want to mind to do, we won't. If you want some help, raise a hand when you come. If you don't want to help, please don't bother you. You don't have to go to a priest or a preacher to get the job. You got to deal with him personally. But we're not here to treat your cold. If you want some help, somebody to pray with you, be glad to show you something in the scripture. Well, just be with the Lord, that's your business, He is. Why don't you just come down tonight and just stay a while and get settled. We won't rush tonight. I'll let you talk to the Lord. That book said, if we confess our sins, He is faithful and just to forgive us our sins and cleanse us more than righteous. The program for life with the Father. There's no life on this earth as good as the one in the Father's house. And you Christians, put wasting your time trying to air condition the hog there. He said it's instruction. Your job is to get as many people out of it as you can get and get it to the Father's house. The world is going to get better. If it didn't get better, the fellow would be saved anyway. Do what you can. Father, bless your people all over God. Anybody here tonight that's going out of rule, Casey's up in the country, they're doing wait, with one foot in the grave, the other one ready to kick the bucket. I read the act tonight, and he said,